Hey Virgos, and welcome to your March 2017 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky, and I'm here to give you guys hopefully a great reading for your month ahead. So Virgos, it looks like you're kind of maybe in a little bit of crisis mode coming into March, and that's understandable. I see where you've been in February. You've been holding your own for such a long time now, and like you've been kind of on the brink of it. You've been like, holding yourself up, keeping afloat, but now it seems like you finally accepted and acknowledged that you've been hurt, that you're kind of in a crisis place, and you're just kind of in a low place and trying to pick up the pieces. And I feel like you guys, this is going to be so much better for you than you realized right now. You know, where you're at right now, Virgo, you're going to remember this period of your life as a time where you finally kind of succumb to what was happening, and through that you became a lot more successful. That's a major vibe for everyone this month. Your obstacles are going to serve you in the future. It's like there seems to be a lot of things standing in your way of what you're trying to accomplish right now, but you can use these things in ways that you're not aware of right now to catapult yourself as a springboard or as a, something to jump off of in the future, okay? So do remember that, Virgos, as you kind of come face to face with some obstacles right now. It will get so much better. You just have to give it a little bit of time to, kind of go through your healing crisis and experience some of the difficulties, and then you're going to come out the other side a lot stronger of a person. Right now, you're going through evolution. You're going through really far-reaching changes as a person. There might be a little bit of conflict with other people, not knowing who's on your side, not knowing who isn't, and overall just transition, mobility, during a period of time where it's better to be still and to be comfortably still. But it seems like you can't be comfortably still right now, so there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of change. The Six of Swords, Wands, the Knight of Swords, Five of Pentacles. More opportunities after we get through the equinox. We're coming to the end of the astrological new year, the outside world at the end of the month, moving into April, and especially culminating in the summer where we you. And if you kind of take time to radically accept where you are in the stillness. So anyway, I'm going to get into this reading from the week-to-week basis and clarification for you guys about how to, work with this process that you're in right now. So anyway, in the first week, I think that you're seeing this most obviously. I think you're seeing the crisis most obviously, and I think you kind of know what you have to do to change your circumstance. You have the Seven of Swords reversed, rooted down by judgment. Okay, so there is an archetype of somebody taking advantage, somebody trying to trick you or deceive you. Likewise, you trying to trick or deceive somebody. Just that archetype is in your field right now. And being rooted down by judgment, it's like it's the last time. That's what I'm hearing. It's like this won't happen again in the same way. So for people that are deceiving or tricking you, it won't happen like this again. And it's like you need to address it now because it's like you won't have proof of it in the future. For any Virgos going through legal problems, you've got to keep your proof. And just at the lesser level in like romantic relationships and stuff, it's like you think that maybe if some Virgos are being cheated on or having any, it doesn't have to be cheating. It could be like just lies in the relationship or money problems, whatever it is. It's like you need to be finding proof for that. You need to not be succumbing to like your paranoia about anything for sure. You can see that sometimes with the Seven of Swords reversed. A lot of the times with the Seven of Swords reversed, you see like that gut feeling that you feel like you're being cheated on, or you feel like there are lies, but you don't have proof of that. Or maybe some of you are so discouraged that you have proof right now, but you just aren't really thinking about it, and you just want to like hide away, and you don't know whether you want to continue the relationship. So the message is there is an issue regarding proof of deception with you. There's an issue with that, and it needs to be looked at, and you need to make sure that you're prioritizing yourself when it comes to deception and lies. Like sometimes, like with Virgo and Scorpio and Cancer and those kinds of signs, sometimes when you guys get into a relationship where there is lying and deception, it becomes more important to like get to the bottom of it than it does your like happiness. Like you just want to know the truth one way or another, even if that makes you unhappy. when you kind of know that the relationship is over anyway, but you still want to find the proof and you still want to know one way or another how things were when you were with this person. It's a good time to make sure that you can handle it. It's a good time to make sure that you know who you're dealing with, that you know your own ability to face the truth, Virgo. It's a good time to ask yourself whether or not you should just leave, whether or not this truth is worth your happiness or your sanity. And for some of you, it may be, and you just kind of have to fight this battle and see where it takes you. But, the first week, I'm not going to lie, Virgos, it's hard, but you're coming to a better place after the first week. You are kind of having an evolution and a rebirth. And I feel like this is hard for you because you are having a lot of difficult connections with other people right now. And just as I'm talking about in all the videos, right now, this time of the year, especially having had the eclipse and the new moon in Pisces and it being the Pisces time of the year, in the beginning of March until the equinox, you guys, you have to pull back a little bit. You cannot be so concerned with other people because now is a time where other people's karma bleeds really easily. It's really easy when you're connected to other people for their arc energy to bleed off onto you, for yours to bleed off onto them. And that creates a very discordant energy within your life. And you'll have to be dealing with this far past the equinox if you try to take it on. So it's better to be concerned with yourself and face the own issues in your auric field than that of others. And then you can be a little bit more outward and more forward with your thinking and actions after the equinox, after the 21st of March, especially moving into April and the end of the spring. It seems like summer for everybody is going to be a more outward time, and we're going to need to actually focus less on the internal situation. So do know that there's another side to this. A lot of spiritual counselors always talk about withdrawing or being passive or focusing on yourself. But even that can go too far. Even that can land you in difficult territory. But right now, it's what is needed. And I'm not the type of spiritual counselor who will say that over and over and over again, even when it's not the time. But right now, it is the time for that. And it's almost feeling stale and old right now. That's just because we're getting to the root of it all. And it's a long process, but just keep it going, Virgos. Keep the self-prioritization and self-knowledge, the quest for self-knowledge. Keep up with that more so than your quest for the truth of other people's actions right now, okay? Moving into the second week, you guys have the Knight of Wands rooted down by the Ten of Cups. All of a sudden, you guys have a lot of creative, abundant energy in the second week to try to change up your family. It could be maybe to change your home, to change your surroundings. And as long as this is coming from a place where you can continue your self-reflection, it's okay. If it's something that's distracting you completely from the inner processes, it's not good till the end of the month. But right now, it can be good as long as you're reflecting at the same time, because this is how Virgos, heal. Virgos change things about their surroundings. They organize things. They put things into order. And you heal through that. And if you can do that, Virgo, with healthy reflection, not the kind of reflection that's analytical and trying to get to the bottom of things, because that's not supported. But again, as I'm talking about in all the videos, unconscious symbols that cause healing, which is why you can heal so much here, Virgos, because you're doing like reorganizing, remodeling, any of that kind of stuff. Great time to have some unconscious healing to occur through that. So that's very supportive. Moving into the third week, you've got the Two of Swords reversed, rooted down by the Seven of Wands. And again, it's like you get a break from it in the second week, but in the third week it comes back because maybe you've completely reorganized everything and you now have no more DIY projects to take on. You're very... what's the right word? You're very guarded, okay, in the third week. I feel like you realize all of this stuff a little bit late because the third week is we're getting right into the equinox time period here where things will start changing. And it's like as a result of what was going on at the earlier part of the month and even from February, that finally clicks into place and you don't want to let people in now. You don't want to let other people's energy in. You've experienced this bleeding karmic energy into your auric field and now you're like, no more. I can't handle other people's expectations, other people's needs. And, but it seems like, and this reading is a little bit of a contradiction in some places. It seems like you're getting too stuck in the idea of being guarded versus what's happening when you're guarded. Okay, so like when you're guarded, you should be working on yourself. You should be allowing the unconscious healing to occur. You should be resting. You should be recharging. But it seems like you're more like dwelling or really like, because both of those cards, especially with the Two of Swords, because her eyes are covered, so it's like you're being guarded and you're not actually looking at the root of the problem. And to an extent you can't, because, you know, being so analytical right now and trying to solve things by looking at them so hardly is just being more discouraging. So you've got to find the middle ground. You've got to find the middle ground of what it is to guard yourself off from overstimulation from the outside versus focusing too much on your inner problem that you become discouraged by it. Where is that middle ground, Virgo? That's what this month is about for you, is finding the middle ground, finding the soft place in it all. Just accepting that you do have more happiness than you realize right now. And because you are on higher ground, despite needing to find the middle ground, you're on higher ground with the Seven of Wands. That's what that's all about. You know, people might be wanting to be confrontational with you, and you might be getting a lot of outward stimulation, but you're above that all. And that's the reality, and you're not treating yourself like you are. Okay, and moving into the fourth week from all of that, you've got the Five of Pentacles rooted down by the Six of Swords reversed. I actually think this is really good. A lot of readers would probably be like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But I think this is exactly what you need, Virgos. So you finally face it in a new way. Like the Five of Pentacles, that image, you see like they're walking through the snow, they're crippled, they feel like they don't have faith because they're not looking to the church windows and they don't want to acknowledge it. It's like you realize this about yourself. You realize how, despite being a faithful person, like you actually had a lack of faith. You see the contradiction to everything. And it's like it clicks, and you see it in a new light, and suddenly you can transition out of it with the Six of Swords, okay? And the Six of Swords reversed, I feel here, is actually a good thing, because usually the Six of Swords talks about like blind transition and trying to escape a problem but still bearing the crosses of that problem despite being in new territory. And I feel like it being reversed takes that back a little bit. I feel like it's just transition for the sake of transition now. So it's good to leave March, Virgos, with a transitional mindset, with like, how am I changing, but how am I not like rewriting my story, or unless you feel drawn to rewrite your story. But there are parts of you that you do need to hang on to. And that's why I feel that the Six of Swords reversed is good, because you don't want to completely purge yourself of everything that is a part of you. But at the same time, you do want to make changes. So allow natural changes to come in. Don't push too hard for them. Otherwise, you could feel a little bit purged. Your central theme, Virgos, is the Knight of Swords. So this could be somebody that's really influential to all of this, the Gemini, Aquarius, Libra energy. It could be a romantic relationship that comes in that changes these circumstances, that adds this transitional energy. Although more so than that, I feel that this is your desire to take this really quickly. Like you feel stagnant and you want to change it all, and you want it to all be over with. And to some extent, Virgos, you're supported. You are supported in quick, immediate change, because I mean it's upright and it's ruling over your entire spread. And to have Judgment there, it's like there's so much change happening for you, and you can really tap into that. But I usually, from what I've seen in my experience, the Knight of Swords is so quick sometimes that it scatters people. So just make sure that you're not scattering yourself, because that will be a conscious decision if it happens. And I don't want you to get a harsh tone like after the fact and be upset at yourself for having been that way. You know, it is like you have too much on your plate too, and maybe you just kind of like drop it and you choose to go another direction. Like look at the Seven of Swords, look at the Seven of Wands, the Two of Swords, the Six of Swords. There's so much. There's like so many swords and wands and like objects that you're having to like carry around, that you're having to deal with or navigate through. And I feel like, at least with my experience, the best thing to do sometimes when you're trying to like navigate through the swords and sometimes the wands, sometimes the best thing to do is to go the opposite direction and just, or go around, one of the two. You don't necessarily, like, look at the Six of Swords and you see all of those like swords sticking into the boat. It's like you're trying to walk through that. You're trying to like go through that, and you're trying to hold all those swords in your arms, and the Seven of Swords reversed in the beginning. And like, I don't want you guys to get cut. Like, you're really trying to navigate through really sharp energies right now. And maybe it would just be best to drop them, or best to go around, or best to go the opposite direction. So, because you definitely don't want to be using the Knight of Swords energy to go through all of that. Like, you don't want to come flying into it and just like run through it, you know, like without even looking, like with your eyes closed. Like, that's kind of an energy that you guys have going. It's like you're using the Knight of Swords energy to walk through those swords and the Six of Swords, and like you're running with the swords in your arms so quickly. And no reason for that in Pisces time, Virgo. It's your opposite. You have a lot of knowledge about Pisces inherently because it's your opposite. And you know that quick outward action is not the answer to this. So maybe go the opposite direction, or pause, or go around. Something where you can accept the stillness and feel comfortable with it, okay, Virgos? You guys have so much to gain. You do have opportunities to make your family environment a lot better here. Romance is maybe struggling a little bit more, and you don't need to focus so much on it. Finances, they're okay. They're, again, it's good to focus in a lighthearted way, but don't try to analyze it too far right now. It'll get better in the future. And without further ado, I think that that's a good place to call it a stop. Just allow the rebirth to come in, Virgos. You'll feel differently about this all once you've transitioned out of it, okay? If you guys would like to follow me on Instagram, that's linked below in the description box. Also, you can book a private reading with me that should be popping up in the center of the screen any second. I would so appreciate it if you guys subscribed to my channel, because I am going to be having more content coming around the equinox, and I wouldn't want you guys to miss out on it. And I will see you guys later in the month. Much love. Bye.